All right, hey, how's it, everybody? It's right around 5:15 p.m. That's Pacific time, West Coast time. We're gonna say it is around 2:15 Hawaii time. Let's call it 8:15 East Coast time and 7:15 for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter today, and boy, oh boy, did time fly. It looks like we've got a ton of folks hanging out going, so what's going on? That is a good question to have. So, what was going on is I was working my real job, lost track of time, started prepping this, lost track of time, and then nature called and I had to brush my teeth, and suddenly it was 1:15 and well, here we are. Here we are with Terry in Scotland, who was subscribed with a tier 2 for 47 months. Thank you so much, Terry. And it looks like we have got Katie's Aura here as well. We've got Elaine on that there YouTube side. Let's see here who else we've got. Shock, you will be late. Not as late as me. And let's see here. Who else we got here? Mama Sean on that there YouTube side. Elaine, hello. I think I already said that though. We've got Kenny from the Cove, Terry in Scotland. Mama Sean, Elaine, Terry from the Cove. Let's go down a little bit more. Terry in Scotland was wondering what I was doing. Running around like a chicken with the head cut off and brushing my teethuses. And it looks like we got Mariana here coming in on that there YouTube side. And let's see here. Elaine and Terry, thank you. My hair looks good tonight. Yes, I washed and curled it last night, so today it could be all fancy. Thank you so much for that 1,000 biddies. And all right, it looks like we got to the end of the list right there. And it looks like, if I play my cards right, eventually later in the stream, we may or may not get to see Ashes, because she's hanging out, just hanging out. And I'm not paying any attention to her, nothing. Nope, she's just hanging out. All right, well, hey, we are, I look fabulous. Well, thank you. I just brushed my teeth. I brushed my teeth, and you guys, I put on some lip gloss. Lip gloss, because that's what I do. I make it fancy for you guys. I might not have eyebrows, but at least I have lips. And that's about all I've got going on for the makeups. So if you want fancy makeup tutorials, don't come to this channel, because I will show you how to put on some lip gloss. And here, I'll show you right now. You do this. Isn't that difficult? It will take you years upon years of practice to go on as smooth as that. I didn't even look at myself. I just went burp, burp, and there you have it. I'm ready for my close-up. Okay, so why don't we get the party started, and then we'll figure out what it is we're going to be talking about today. Those black kitty green eyes staring into your soul. Sort of like Ashes, only hers are yellow and much more judgmental. Okay, so, you guys, let's see here. Yeah, getting all babified. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm covering my body because it's freezing in my house. Actually, it's not. It's 63 degrees. It's quite a lovely temperature, I guess, but I got the chills, and so I figured I'd put on a long sleeve shirt. And, by the way, y'all, if you've got a sharp eye and you can maybe tell, one of the first and only times on this stream am I not wearing black. This is actually gray. If you know me and you know what I wear on this stream, it's almost always exclusively a black shirt. This is not a black shirt. It's a dark gray shirt. So, consider yourself colorfied. All right, so first off, I saw this earlier today, and this is really nothing we need to talk about, but I guess actually we should talk about it, because you guys are saying I look fabulous, which is fantastic. Elaine, did I have lunch? I get really chilled when I get hungry. Actually, it's funny you should ask that because I just ate a half a bowl of ramen, and I'm feeling much better now that I got the food in me. Because, yeah, no, I hadn't eaten lunch. I hadn't eaten anything yet today, except for, of course, my coffee, which I still have some left. But, yeah, I did have half a bowl of ramen, and I'm feeling a little bit cozier now. But for sure, it is a groundbreaking stream. And Kenny, actually, hold off for a second on what you... Oh, Shainambada. I didn't download the pictures because I'm stupid. But we will talk about what you want to talk about. And in fact, we can talk about it shortly after this because I want to show you a t-shirt, y'all. And how much design really matters. Because I'm not going to tell you what this t-shirt is. And you'll eventually figure it out. But if you're like me and you looked at this t-shirt, your brain saw something very different than what the t-shirt is actually showing. So let's just discuss for a minute how important design is and how little they took that into consideration. Because that is a t-shirt. I don't know what you see, but I know what I saw. Tell me what you see. Anybody? Anybody? I'll give you a hint. I thought I saw a belly button and a flabby stomach. And I also thought that I saw a really pretty above a flabby stomach, but actually though, y'all, that's a bunny. Okay, you're not looking at what you think you're looking at. It's a bunny. I'll wait until you see the bunny. Let me know when you see the bunny. We might be here for a while. I mean, did they mean to do that? Katie's like, I see the bunny. But did you see the bunny at first? Because I sure did not see the bunny at first. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't the belly button that I saw first either. But that's where my brain went after I saw the bunny's eye. The bunny's eye is very eye-catching. We'll just leave it at that. And so, you know, design is... Kenny, I refuse to see the bunny. Right, exactly. And I mean, I honestly have to assume that they meant for this to happen, right? This can't... I mean, I really don't know if this was an accidental bad design or if this was a purposeful bad design. But yeah, Elaine, exactly. I had to really focus, and once you know what it is, you still have to see it. And Kenny, I see the varmint now. Buzzkill. Exactly. So I can only assume that, I mean... You know, here's the deal, I suppose. It's one thing to approve a design when it's laying flat, like it's already been screen printed onto that t-shirt, right? And you're looking at the t-shirt laid flat on the table, and it's centered beautifully. The design is great. And maybe it's not until you see it on someone that you realize just what you've done. But after you've realized just what you've done, do you really want to continue to sell them? I don't know. I guess maybe they're selling more of them. They are getting more press probably from that picture than they had ever intended. And that's not where my brain always goes, Terry. But I mean, come on. That we all saw it, right? We all saw the boobie. Even though we did not see the boobie. We all saw the boobie. And, yeah, okay, fine. And, well, that is very interesting, but on an old lady like me, would definitely be Bunny. Yeah, if I wore that shirt too, for sure, the bunny's eyes would be down at its knees. Um, but okay, so let's see here. Kenny, Kenny had some pictures that he wanted me to show, which when I read it, I was like, oh yeah, I can totally I didn't do that. So right now then, what we're going to do, instead of talking about Kenny's thing, because Kenny, I will get to your thing. I'll figure out something. Here now is one of our regularly scheduled segments. Where in the world is Pecola T? Because Pecola T is no longer on the Hawaiian Islands. She got her little whatever, doctor's appointments and home rest, and she did her laundry, and so now she's on the road again. And I just have to ask you guys if you have any idea. And anyway, where in the world is Pecola T? Here's one picture, and we can see that she is outside in a very pretty place. A pretty place with flowers and clouds and waters and more flowers and plants. I don't know what kind of plants those are. And mountains and waters. And then, oh, look, more flowers. Maybe they're plants. I'm not really sure what those are, but they're very pretty. And mountains and waters. And Michi Mama guesses Japan. And then there's a garden. Look at the garden. And Michi Mama's probably right. And then look. Oh yeah, Michi Mama's totally right. This is where Pecola T is. Aloha, Michi Mama. So glad to see you. She is in Japan. Yes, she is. And in case we didn't guess that in time, this is where she's at. And in case we didn't get it from that, she said that we would obviously get it from that because it's a 7-Eleven famous egg sandwich that they only have in Japan. So there we have it. She is in Japan. Michi Mama is the winner. Michi Mama is the winner, even though there's really nothing to win except for bragging rights. And I know, what beautiful photos, huh? Let's see here. Hold on now. I'm going to just do this. Yes, such beautiful photos. And speaking of Japanese 7-Elevens, they are going to, I've been kind of following this for a few months now, and so 7-Eleven, the United States 7-Eleven is about to go through a major revamp. A bunch of corporate stores were closed. About 450 corporate stores were closed in the past 2 years, and there are plans for remaking some of those into the Japanese style 7-Elevens. They've actually moved the company that does the catering / sandwich making for 7-Eleven in Japan has moved into the United States as well. They have created their own, they've built their own factory for here, and it's looking like in early 2026, Japanese 7-Eleven is going to split into two different entities, and the American 7-Elevens are going to be put up for an initial public offering. They're going to be, it's instead of being a privately held company, they're going to be putting it on the stock exchange. And so I obviously am not one to have extra money, and I am obviously not one who has played the stock market very successfully, but I am going to, when that IPO happens, I absolutely am going to make an attempt to buy at least one share. I don't know what the shares are going to be costing or going to come out at, so obviously I can't say that I'll be buying any more than one share. But for real, it seems as though a no-brainer to me that when 7-Eleven goes public, it's not going to hurt to throw $1 into that rodeo. I really, really, really think it might be a good investment. But regardless of whether or not it's a good investment, I'm really, really, really stoked that 7-Eleven is trying to Japaneseify their American presence. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen, say, in Kansas, but I am saying that in places on the West Coast, especially like the one that was in my neighborhood that's been closed for about a year now, that would be a most excellent, drink. Or excuse me, I just read what Shock said. That would be a most excellent evolution of that space. They were already semi catering to an Asian Pacific Islander market. They had mochi ice cream. They oftentimes had snacks from the Japanese 7-Elevens themselves. And so I really, really hope that if nothing else, they do something as akin to Japan 7-Elevens as what Hawaii has. Because Hawaii has a slightly different version of 7-Eleven than the continental United States does. And it's definitely more towards the Japanese. So even if we can't get a full-on Japanese-style 7-Eleven here, I am so excited by the possibility that as early as 2026, we might be getting some. And like I said, I think it's early 2026 where the 7-Eleven IPO is being considered to being offered. Obviously, look this up on your own. And by all means, don't spend your money if you're not comfortable with it. But for real, 7-Eleven is thinking about doing going public in the United States. I think that that's a neat opportunity for a brand that is already so well established, and we all know it. But you know, like I said, don't look into the risks and the risk-benefit analysis before you put any of your money into it. But I'm just letting you know that the opportunity is going to be happening. And yeah, you can papa all you want and say, I don't know what I'm talking about, because normally that's true. But you can actually Google this, and this is true. And I kind of feel like it might be a similar situation, although very different, to when McDonnell Douglas and Boeing merged. And I was trying to explain to people that now is the time to buy stock for either of those because they're going to merge. And of course, everybody I told that to told me I was ridiculous because Boeing is commercial and McDonnell Douglas is military, and never would the two ever, ever, ever combine. Of course, I was telling people they were going to combine because my roommate at the time, her father was a lawyer for Boeing who was writing up the merger as we were speaking. So it's not like I didn't have an insider clue. But this is not an insider clue. This is a well-known topic. So if you want to Google it, 7-Eleven IPO, you will find out that I am not making this all up. Okay? Okay? And Kenny from the Cove, if 7-Eleven wants to Japanify the stores around here, I'm totally for it. As for investing in a 7-Eleven, no can. All my wealth is tied up in poverty. Yes, exactly. All my wealth is tied up in poverty is... Now, Trail Dust, by the way, good to see you in. I see you. All my wealth is tied up in poverty, I think would make a really good t-shirt. Okay? Oh my goodness, yes. And Mitchie Mama, I love 7-Eleven. Shock, I'm a big 7-Eleven convert since I get a big old fountain drink for $1.50. Yeah, exactly. 7-Eleven is, you know, I mean, let's see here. It means the employees will be, hold on. Mitchie Mama, you don't like that? It means the employees will be squeezed? Perhaps, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, if you've ever been to a 7-Eleven around here, you know that they're already kind of squeezed anyway. But I really do miss my 7-Eleven. They closed up, and now I have to go to a different bodega down the street, and I love that bodega, don't get me wrong. I love them too, but I really miss my 7-Eleven. And Shock, I like Wawa, she says, but the price is double. Shock, I have no doubt in my mind that Wawa is more expensive than 7-Eleven, but I also have no doubt in my mind that Wawa's sandwiches are better than 7-Eleven sandwiches, at least the current 7-Eleven sandwiches we have. Because from what I understand, those Wawa sandwiches are so flippin' good. And Mama Sean, hard to even find a 7-Eleven around here. Yeah, 7-Eleven really is in. I used to think 7-Eleven was everywhere, but as I've driven up and down the West Coast, across the country, they definitely have select markets. And certain places that I thought would be in the marketing, they are not. They don't touch. Like, there's not a lot of 7-Elevens in Northern California at all. Whereas Seattle has them like, well, there used to be 2 of them on the same street within like 4 blocks of each other, and until one of them closed up. And let's see here, the local council, oh no, threatened to make you pay rent again until you provided them proof of your income. Well, Terry, just like the tax man in the United States, he wants to see proof of your income. I guess you just gotta, show him proof of your income or your lack of income. It is kind of hard to prove 0, isn't it though? And Elaine, you're totally right. One share, depending, like for real, if one share, let's just say, if one share starts at, and I'm really pulling this number out of my hat, but let's just say one share starts at $75. Can you afford $75? I would probably have to like budget for it. But, and so then one share splits. So suddenly now I've got 2 shares that are worth $75 each. It's $150, blah, blah, blah. When you get little, when you start in at the bottom and you get just a little bit, it can exponent. I don't even know if exponent, the way I just said it, is even a word. I know exponent's a word, but anyway, it can get bigger. And Mama Sean, a plethora of Circle K here, though. Yeah, sometimes I wonder if 7-Eleven and Circle K kind of agreed. It's like, okay, you get this county, I'll get this county. You get above the Mason-Dixon line, I get below the Mason-Dixon line. Or maybe not the Mason-Dixon line, that's sort of a bad example, but you know what I mean. And let's see here. There must have been more 7-Elevens when Jerry Lee was having his telethons. Why? Why do you... What? Really? Why? How? I don't... The only thing I remember about the Jerry Lewis telethons is they annoyed the crap out of me as a kid because they would take up a television station for basically an entire day. But that's the only thing I really remember about those telethons, is that they really annoyed me. But what does that have to do with 7-Eleven? Yeah, Jerry Lewis. I know I didn't mean to say Lee. It just, yeah. But what does that have to do with 7-Eleven? I'm not even trying to like question Mitchie Mama, you must tell me. Does anybody know? Like, am I missing a memory? I know I'm missing a memory, so that's really not the question. And let's see here. 7-Elevens used to be owned by the Southland Corporation, weren't they? Honestly, I don't have any idea. But 7-Elevens were involved in the telethons. Oh, okay, says Mitch. All right. Well, okay, I don't remember that, but I do know that the ownership of 7-Eleven has gone through multiple changes over the years, and now it has basically consolidated into a Japanese company is the one that owns it. And the Japanese company is thinking of splitting off their American division as opposed to the rest of the world, because there are 7-Elevens all over the world. They're thinking of IPOing their American division, basically, and so I thought that was kind of neat. And let's see here. The chain was founded in 1927, owned by Southland Corporation. The number of convenience stores expanded, were named Totem Stores between 28 and 46. Southland Corporation changed the store's name to 7-Eleven in 46, reflecting the expanded hours of operation, 7 to 11. I'm missing a memory, another t-shirt. Oh, absolutely. And shock, splitting off the American stuff right now and getting out while the getting is good, not a bad idea. True, although to tell you the truth, hey, Michael Anthony Smith, good to see you. We're talking about 7-Eleven and their IPO that's probably going to be happening in early 2026. Honestly, though, it sounds like it sounds like from what I've read, which is limited, but from what the background I've gotten from it, this IPO idea has been going around for a while now. And so I'm not so sure that current factors are behind it. Although my best guess is them having foresight to predict current factors might be what caused this idea to be an idea. And let's see here. If I were Japan, I'd get rid of us. The pressure's on right now. Yeah. Well, they're still not sure. They're still not sure, because I guess there was some other deal that was supposed to go through before they went public, and that deal fell through. So now the public thing is a little bit shaky, but they're still thinking they want to go public. There's a lot of moving parts to this. That's all I can tell you. And Terry coming in, as of 2022, 7-Eleven is the largest convenience store chain in Japan in terms of sales and number of stores. Additionally, it is one of the largest retail chains in Japan in terms of sales. In November 2005, it acquired full ownership of the original 7-Eleven Inc. Right. And so now, and I think it's called 7-Eleven I now for like international or something like that. Or Inc. Oh, 7-Eleven I. Oh, God. Anyway, all I know is they're planning on maybe doing an IPO. So keep your ears to the ground about that. And if you've got an extra $100, an extra $75, an extra whatever to buy a share, or 2, or 5, or 7, or 3, or 127,552, I don't know, man. I don't know what's in your wallet. But you know, it's something to think about. And let's see here. Okay, I've got all sorts of homework that I have to do, and I have to do it before the Lono listening break, because ultimately I don't have a Lono listening break uploaded yet. And let's see here. Japanese right-wing leadership is falling apart as we speak, so DJT's plans are going haywire. If the initial cost of a share is roughly the same as the cost of a quarter-pound Big Bite, I'd go for it. There you go. I think a quarter-pound Big Bite is like what, $1.99 now, $1.50, and Trail Dust, you have expired coupons in your wallet. Excellent. That's good. Alrighty, so let's see here. What am I gonna do? I need to do something, but I can't do something. Oh, here's maybe what I'll do. Okay. So, totally different subject, but hopefully we can laugh a little bit about it. Just last week, I was going through the interwebs, and I found 2 different drug busts that were being highlighted. And one of the drug busts was from Connecticut. And this is so cute. Look at the little drug bust from Connecticut. Connecticut, I guess, it doesn't... Weed, I suppose, is still not allowed in Connecticut. Connecticut does not like the greenery. No, it's illegal. And so we're probably looking about like 2 pounds of weed here. And I have to admit, the weed looks like it's pretty good, actually. And Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut is super stoked, man. They are bragging about all of these drugs that they got off the street. And I have no doubt in my mind that the people in Hartford, Connecticut feel much safer, that they don't live in Tacoma, because that's what Tacoma just took off the streets this last week. 89 pounds of crystal meth. I kid you not. What you are looking at right now is 89 pounds of crystal meth. And yeah, that's Tacoma. But you know, We want to get the marijuanas off the street, says Connecticut. The marijuanas are the scary things on the street. So 89 pounds of meth, literally 89 pounds of meth versus like 4 pounds of weed at the most. I mean, that's a lot of meth, man. I have done some meth in my life. I have not done that much meth in my life. I never thought that much meth could be in one place in anybody's life. That is a lot of meth. But, now, I'm not trying to make fun of people on meth. They're easy to make fun of, you know, and I'm certainly not telling anybody to do meth. And I'm certainly not bragging that we've got such a meth problem out here. But I hope you guys can find this level of, oh, the cops are just so stoked that they got these drugs off the street. Versus this. I gotta tell you, man, the cops have every right to be bragging about this. And I'm not one to usually sing cops' praises, but good Lord, that's a lot of meth. Exactly, Trail Dust. Oh, it's clearly for personal use. Abso-flippin'-lutely for personal use. Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's see here. I still need to go do stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a Lono listening break that isn't really our usual riding around in the back of a 67 or 76 Pinot. Yeah, exactly. It's probably where they found it. So this is a Lono listening break of sorts, but it's usually done at the end of our live stream, but just because we're hearing it now doesn't mean it's the end. There's still more, so don't leave. But this is the only Lono listening break I've got lined up. So we're gonna watch this or listen to this for a minute because I've got other stuff I have to load up, like Kenny's pictures and stuff. So here, let's listen to Lono. Beep. All right, there we go. I am hoping there was not 90 pounds of meth in the Pinto that Kenny from the Cove took his driver's license test in. Otherwise, he would have been speeding. See what I did there? All right, so. All right, here we go. I think I got it. Okay, so Kenny from the Cove, he had some things he wanted to talk about a particular, let's see here. Well, I don't know. Kenny, we're ready for you, man. We're ready for you. I've got the pictures and everything. So if Kenny wants to get his topic on board, I can show you guys. I can show you guys a map for a minute. Check this out, dude. You know what that is? That's the Mediterranean Sea overlaid into the United States. And so, Kenny, keep typing up your typing, and we're just going to wonder about this map for a minute. But yeah, check it out, y'all. The Mediterranean Sea is basically as big and wide as the United States is big and wide. And so it's a map on a map to give you a perspective on the map. And let's see here. Connecticut cannabis laws. Legal to carry up to 1.5 ounces or possess up to 5 ounces locked inside a home or trunk of a vehicle. So 2 pounds is a little bit more than that. That's just my my guess. But yeah, here's a map on a map. So don't tell me we didn't have any maps today. And by the way, if we go on to another topic that I've got, there's a map for that as well. So you might have 3 maps today if everything goes the way it's supposed to go. But in the meantime, we've got ourselves some sports ball to talk about. How'd you guys enjoy that game last night or the other night? I don't know what game I'm talking about, except for it's the one with the Mariners in it. And it went for like 15 flipping innings. And then the Mariners, ooh, I meant to grab this too. The Mariners, they won, so they're going on to they play the Toronto Blue Jays today, like they started about an hour ago. But check this out. When Seattle won in the 15th inning, the crowd cheered so loudly that they created an earthquake. Because, and this isn't the first time that's happened at the sports parks. Marshawn Lynch, I believe, or a Seahawks got a touchdown. Marshawn Lynch had something to do with it. And in the other stadium, the football stadium, the crowd cheered so loudly that that they were able to detect an earthquake. And then the same thing happened under T-Mobile Stadium, the baseball park. The crowd cheered so loudly they were able to detect an earthquake. The reason why they were able to detect these earthquakes is because there are seismic sensors in the area, because the area that these stadiums are built on very vulnerable, seismically sensitive landfills. And so there's a bunch of, and we're already earthquake prone around here. So there's a bunch of seismic sensors all over the city. So, but there just happens to be sensors literally underneath both of the stadiums. So when the stadiums shake and rock so hugely, they actually can create a mark on the seismic scale. So here we go. See Honda coming in, but Kenny from the Cove coming in. There's a new team in the National Hockey League. Turns out the Arizona Coyotes fold their tents and move to Salt Lake City, Utah. They are now the Utah Mammoth Hockey Club. That is correct. And boop, that is not what their jersey looks like. Instead, why isn't it going? There we go. This is what their jersey looks like. Now, Kenny from the Cove, he prefers this jersey. And frankly, I kind of like that jersey too, but I think that this jersey is more modern and looks more like all the other team logos and stuff, that stupid clean design. And so I can sort of see why they went with this one. But this one, I do hope that they at least make this t-shirt design available for the fans and frankly, I hope that they model their mascot after this design. I mean, like, this design to me is like what their mascot should look like. This one, though, it absolutely, and I have to say, dude, it really is a beautiful design. You've got the, what is the Uinta Mountains in the background, and that the Uintas are also the top of that mammoth's head, and then the way that the trunk and the tusk both, cross over each other and sort of create this circular feeling within the triangles. It really, whoever that design is, whoever made that graphic knows exactly what the flying fork they are doing when it comes to streamlined logo design. But I really like this guy. And Kenny's like, I vibe with the sweater they passed down. I vibe with the fact that it looks like an angry old guy who's fixing to slap shot someone who's effing around. Exactly, Kenny. I totally agree. And I feel like they totally should make that their mascot. Now, obviously, I have no say because I don't live in Utah and I'm not a huge hockey person. But this design is, I really do enjoy that design more from a, I enjoy, this design is, to me, I don't know, warmer and friendlier, strangely enough, but this design has so many elements, and it's just so perfect. It's so sleek and modern, and just that design is perfection. I have no issue with that design at all. I like the other one better, but this one is a gorgeous piece of logo work. Yeah, there's a lot of symbolism hidden in the image. Absolutely there is. I already can see a few of the things, and I'm not even aware of some of the stuff. So let's see here. Yeah, it has the mountains in the logo, right? I mean, that's what I see, at least, right? And so, there's a lot going on here. It's not just not just the mammoth, but it sounds like, though, I didn't read what this was, but I really wanted to. So Mama Sean said, yeah, Kenny, locally where they wanted to put a new stadium, the locals said no, they hadn't planned enough infrastructure. Living where I do, I appreciate that they moved. Got it. And then let's see here. Kenny from the Cove. The angry old mammoth design is cooler than the Pooh Bear jerseys the Bruins had in the 90s. And Elaine, I like the hockey stick. Put the mountains in the background. Yeah, okay, you could do that too. Here's what I have to say. ¿Por qué no las dos, right? Why not both? I feel like this jersey with the hockey stick and the angry fluffy man would be a great seller. A wonderful seller. And I mean seller like SELLER, like sold. I think that the fans would love that. Especially if the mascot actually was modeled after that. But this, as far as what the players are wearing, I'm totally cool with that. And Terry coming in, Toronto 1, Seattle 0, bottom of the third. Not even surprised at all. And let's see here, Kenny suggesting maybe make the blue, white, blue stripe at the bottom jagged like mountains. Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. That would, you would need a whole new design, and then that becomes a separate design from the other design. I kind of like the stripies as the stripes are, But you know what? Here's the deal. As much as I may like or dislike their choice in uniform, I I don't care really because they're not the Kraken. And the Kraken is kind of the coolest. I don't understand their mascot. I'm not going to even lie. I don't understand their mascot. But as far as the idea of a scary underwater beast that's going to kill you, I love the logo of our little Seattle Krakens. And nothing looked as dumb as the Anaheim Ducks' previous design, says Sionda. And the Canucks jersey features an orca, eh? I didn't know that. Well, it's not a southern resident orca. It's an East Coast orca. And by the way, you guys, and I meant to get some footage about this too, but completely spaced. J-Pod. We've talked about J-Pod a lot this year, this fall, this end of summer. J-Pod had a baby, and then within a day or two, 3, the baby was declared dead. And then another one of J-Pod had a baby. And then just last week, it turns out another baby from J-Pod has been born. Now, the first one, the first one that died, we don't know what sex that baby was. The second one that was born that still is alive, that's been confirmed as a girl. Now, the one that just was born, maybe a week ago, they haven't been able to tell if it's a boy or a girl yet. But from what it sounds like, both of these little babies are still alive, successfully with their moms, their aunts, their families. So J-Pod, this in the past basically month, has had 3 babies, 2 of whom have survived. So that's good. Now, it's usually, with the first year of an orca's life is, the first year of many animals' life is the trickiest. So we're obviously not out of the woods yet, but despite the fact that J-Pod's birthing history in this year started off on a sour note, there's 2 successful babies that so far are still living. And let's see here. The symbolism on the one they went with, says Kenny, the tusk is kind of shaped like a U. Exactly. One of the white patches in the Mammoth's mountain head is shaped like the state of Utah. Kinda. Wait, what? Let me look at that. Okay, wait. What is shaped like the state of Utah? Hold on. One of the white patches in the mammoth's head is kinda shaped like the state of Utah. I don't know the white patch above the eye. Yeah, I was thinking it's, if we're talking about white patches, I'm going with Michael Anthony Smith. I thought it's the one, I interpreted that as the one by the tusk. Michael Anthony called it an antler. Same difference. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, he meant tusk, and I mean, I'm assuming he did. And that's where I'm seeing the closest resemblance to. Oh, okay. Oh, Kenny. Okay, then we all are talking about the same thing. Yeah, you know, no, Michael Anthony Smith, you're not, please, antler, horn, tusk, it's all, we know what you're talking about, or, I mean, I did, so that's all that matters, that's all that matters, I did, and, yeah, I don't know if I see Utah in that, but if that's what they insist, then there you go. I'd have to, well, now, Kenny, if you had told me that there might be a map needed to talk about this picture, I would have been better prepared. I could have brought up a map of Utah, but I did not know that we were gonna need an associated map with the jerseys. You do understand that I am okay with bringing out a map at any time. Anytime. This would have been a perfect place for a map. Perfect place for a map. All right, well, we might have to go dig up a map, okay? But while we're gonna go dig up a map, okay? We are going to watch this KHON news bit about something that happened this week in Washington State. It's very rare that this happens, and I actually beg to differ with what this newscast has to say about how often it has happened. But this past week, the Tulalip Indian Reservation north of Seattle, they hosted the Native Hawaiian Convention, and this I do believe this is the first time that the Native Hawaiian Convention has taken place on Native ground outside of Hawaii. Now, a couple different newscasts about this convention have alluded to have suggested, said outright that this convention always takes place in Hawaii, and the only other time it didn't, it took place in Las Vegas 2 years ago. That's not true. Okay? That's not true. And I happen to know this because Lono Music performed at the Native Hawaiian Convention in Las Vegas that happened about 20 years ago. In fact, I don't remember which album he's got it on, but his version of the Star Spangled Banner that he's got on one of his albums, that was inspired by his time at that Native Hawaiian Convention in Las Vegas. And the governor who was there told him to play the Star Spangled Banner. And Lono didn't want to. He wanted to play the Hawaii national anthem. But the governor of Hawaii that was there said, no, we're on continental United States land. You're going to play Star Spangled Banner. And so that's why if you've got the album that Lono's version of Star Spangled Banner is on, if you listen closely before he starts playing, you'll hear Lono say into the microphone, "What?" And that's why he says that, because that's how that happened on stage in real life at the convention in Las Vegas. The governor told him to do this, and his response was, "What?" So, anyway, this news clip is mostly right, except for some little wrong things, but that's okay. But that is okay. So, let's see here. Let's go get to this, and then I'm gonna go find a. I am going to find a map of Utah, and Kenny from the Cove. I don't think that they're the Wasatch Mountains. I think they're the Uinta. They're the Uinta Mountains, but I will look into that because I say this for roller derby reasons. But anyway, let's go listen to this basically a groundbreaking event, because whether or not it's happened in Las Vegas or not is kind of a moot point. This is the first time off of the island of Hawaii, or excuse me, off of the outside of the state of Hawaii, that the Native Hawaiian Convention has taken place on indigenous lands. And so let's listen to this conversation. Boop.
Well, the week of cultural exchange is wrapping up at the Native Hawaiian Convention in Washington State. Kamakapili tonight with more on the impact this could have on island tourism.
The Native Hawaiian Convention continues with great conversations, amazing mana, and a lot of great fellowships taking place here. We're here at Tulalip, Washington at the Tulalip Resort Casino. This is Native American land, and the first time that the Native Hawaiian Convention had been hosted on Native lands outside of Hawaii. So to learn more about this, we're here with the Chief Administrator of Kilohana, Tyler Gomes. Thank you very much, brother, for having us again. And I think it's just an amazing point that this is on Native land. And you know, if we're talking about tourism, what are you trying to get out of? What was the point of bringing it here?
Well, you know, it's no secret that tourism impacts so many of our indigenous communities. Hawaii is incredibly dependent on the funds generated from tourism. So being here and seeing what indigenous excellence looks like in the way they greet and engage their visitors is something we can take home. I've always said that, you know, economic self-sufficiency is an act of self-determination. And so if tourism is going to continue, Hawaiians have to have a seat at that table. We have to learn as much as we can from our indigenous cousins and really take ownership of that in order to make sure that Native Hawaiians are the ones who benefit from tourism.
I think that term regenerative tourism has been something we've been hearing a lot since the pandemic. And with all of that being said, I know some of the breakout sessions have topics such as that. What does that mean, regenerative tourism, and how would we take what we learn here and implement that back at home?
Well, for us at Kilohana, we're really looking at, again, how can we make sure that tourism is benefiting the communities that are impacted by it. And so in terms of what we learn here, we know that not only is there casino and resort, which provides for this community, right? Their roads, their schools, their health system are all paid for by the revenue generated from this casino. We also know that the cultural embellishments that are put into the way they develop this community makes it welcoming. It makes it informed and authentic, and that's what tourism needs to reflect in Hawaii, an authentic reflection of the host culture, of the host people.
I think just the element of having these important conversations. I asked this to Kuhio the other day, but what is the goal? What are you guys hoping comes out of these few days after this is POW putting into practice? What does that look like?
Just like every year, I think we really want to inspire Kanaka to think creatively. And this time we're going to go home with new ideas, but I think what we really want to see is new conversation, new ideas, innovation, change, and momentum from this community to help make Hawaii a little bit more of the place we want it to be.
And on part of this, Nalea Aloha is something we've been seeing a lot, the music, the dances, and I know that's being put on by Kilohana. What is Nalea Aloha all about? What makes that different from other hula shows?
Nalea Aloha was crafted, one, completely by Native Hawaiian artists with the idea that, hula's not boring, which is what people have been told for years, and it's time we stop that narrative. And so we wanted to create a show that was exclusively Native Hawaiian, and there's no disrespect to our Polynesian cousins and the Polynesian reviews that do exist, but we really wanted to feature art, storytelling, and mele, crafted by Native Hawaiians for everyone in an informed way. And so our visitors are not only getting a cultural experience, they're getting an educational experience, and they might not know that, but that's what's great about it. They don't need to know that they're being taught something if they're enjoying it as well.
100% agree. Thank you very much, brother. Again, Native Hawaiian Convention 2025 going on here in Tulalip at the Tulalip Resort Casino. We have so many great conversations. If you want to find out more about Hawaiian Council, go to hawaiiancouncil.org or go to our website, khon2.com. Kamakapili with KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
Well, the week of cultural...
Okay, there we go. All right, so it looks like Devil's Lake Food is in the house. Good to see you. And let's see here. Kenny from the Cove. I looked that up. I thought the Uinta region was a basin. No, the Uinta Mountains go east to west. The Wasatch go north and south. The Wasatch ones are right next to the Great Basin, but the Uinta are not. Now, whether or not the mountains in that logo are the Wasatch or the Uinta, could not tell you. It quite possibly is Wasatch. I just never. I always assumed that it would be. I assumed it would be the Uinta because it's the one that's closest to Salt Lake City. That's all. It's the only reason why I assumed that it would be the Uinta. And let's see here. So, but okay. So I got ourselves a little map here, and if Smook was here, he would know, I'm sure. Yeah, possibly, quite possibly. But so let's see here. This is what Utah looks like. And so yeah, it's basically a square with an extra rectangle on top. And then this would be the logo. So it's like they flipped it. It is sort of shaped like Utah, except for backwards. The part that's supposed to be on top is on the other side. But then again, I don't know if they meant to do that or not, because this shape is pretty easy to randomly come across, right? Just naturally within the design. So yeah, I think I'm going to look into the the design parameters of, or what the symbolism is. Because, yeah, the U, there's clearly the U in the tusk, for sure. And quite honestly, when you do the U of the tusk, but then you look at the nose, what is it, the snout, the whatever, they kind of make an M for mammoth, I don't know if that's coincidence and I'm reading too much into it, but it does kind of make a little bit of an M, upside down, of course. Trunk, yes, trunk is the word. Words are hard, y'all. Words are hard. So yeah. So we here in Washington State helped to host the Hawaiian Convention, the Native Hawaiian Convention. And I thought that was really special. I kept seeing little clips of it on my Facebook feed via my native Tulalip people. And so I didn't really understand like what, and so I had to look up what was going on. And as it turns out, something very special was going on. And I will admit, I did have to convince myself to like not go up there because there's just too many cute boys up there. I had to not go. I had to tell myself, no, you're not going to go to Tulalip to meet a cute Hawaiian boy. No, you're not. No, you're not. And I didn't. So I'm pretty proud of myself on that. And Kenny, let's see here. As a Texan, I better never hear someone from Utah whining about having to draw their state. Yeah, totally, Kenny. And why do you never see mammoths hiding in trees? No, I generally do not see the mammoths hiding in trees. I didn't even know that mammoths could climb trees. And let's see here. Devil's Lake Food looks like Wasatch Beer Label or maybe Uinta Beer Label. Utah has both beer companies. Interesting. That's so cute. There's Wasatch Beer and Uinta Beer. That is just cute. And let's see here. I had to look again. Saw an F instead of parts. Oh, that's why I don't see them. It's because they're really good at it. That makes sense. Alrighty, so, and Tiki has been camped out on my arm since I lit up the show, and now my arm is asleep, just like him. Alright, well, you know what? It sounds like it's sleepy time for Michael Anthony Smith, Shakalak's arm, and Tiki's arm, but before you guys go, I would like to show you one little thing. It's an update on the kittens. That's right, we've got kittens. We've got more kittens, and they haven't opened up their eyes yet, although one of them's thinking about opening up their eyes, and they've doubled in weight since they were born, and they're all cozy and up to mom. And this is what mom looked like before she had the babies. Remember, this is what she looked like right before she popped. And this is what she looks like now. She looks so much more comfortable to me. So much more comfortable. And so we've got all the little bebes. All the little bebes sleeping in a row. All the little bebes. They're slowly they're getting more squirmy and they're in more control of themselves, but they're still like I said, their eyes are closed. And I think it's so interesting how so many of the pictures she has, the orange ones are near each other, the tabby ones are near each other, and the dark ones are near each other, and they don't even have their eyes open, so they can't even see that they're next to the ones that look most like them. But yeah, so I just wanted to share with you guys that before you went to sleep. So I hope you got to see that, Michael Anthony Smith, because they're cute kittens. And Kenny from the Cove, which kitten am I going to take? None of them. Because I'm trying to convince my bartender, she wants one, and I'm pretty sure that the person who's my coworker who's doing this, she wants another one, and so that only leaves 4 left. And I don't want any orange kitties, and I don't want any tabbies, and I don't want a tuxedo. So I don't think I'm gonna get any of them. I don't think I'm gonna get any of them. Oh good, Michael Anthony Smith, you got to see the cute kittens. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so I've got one last thing to show you guys, and it's certainly not that important, but I do want to, it's sort of a pretty drive if the footage had been usable, but this is a clip of the footage that I was trying to get last week when we had to skip last Saturday's cinema stream, and unfortunately this is like some of the best footage of it, and it's still like awful. So buckle up your seatbelts, take your Dramamine. It's only like a 2-minute video, but the phone that I was using to take it apparently has no built-in stabilization, and it was the jostliest flippin' video I've ever managed to create. And so C Honda, the videos when they start scrambling around will be plentiful. She has been videoing every single day, so yes, I will definitely be sharing that. And Kenny from the Cove, I don't want an orange kitten. Blasphemer. Kenny, you have to understand, I've already had an orange kitten. He was the most perfect orange kitten, and never again will there be an orange kitten in my life, because Whiskey was the kitten. It's out of respect, my friend, not out of a lack of love for the orange. I have so much love for the orange that I gave all my heart to my orange, and I could never have another one. That's all. So, you have to understand, it's different. It's not that I don't want one, it's just that I can't have one. And, still Toronto 1, Seattle 0, middle of the 5th. Yep, that sounds about like Seattle, all right. But, okay, so here's what I've got to show you guys. And, first off, I want to show you, what we're talking about. We're talking about Mount Rainier. Boom! That is Mount Rainier. And Mount Rainier, as you can see, has, been around for a little bit. And I know, C Honda, I had some really good stable driving videos on Oahu. This was not one of them. This is so disappointing. So, this is Mount Rainier, and as you can see, pretty much directly in front of us, you can sort of see how the mountain is sort of vertical, it's like a chunk of that mountain done did fall off and fall down the slide. Not where the white glacier is, but just to the left of it, that little chunk right there. Like, there used to be land there. That used to be mountain. But then one day, it had an explosion, and it fell off the mountain. And so with the heat, the pyroclastic flow, and the liquefied mud mud, trees, snow melt, steaming hot mud that eventually sort of turns to cement, came flowing down. Okay, here's a map now. So Mount Rainier is that white blob at the bottom of the bottom right of this picture. It flowed down. And do you see that little pink dash right there in the middle, basically? The pyroclastic flow, the lahar, the cement. The pyroclastic flow helped to create the lahar, my friend. The lahar, though, flowed down so many miles off of the mountain and then abruptly stopped right there at the pink line. The pink line actually is further, but the pink line is what we're going to be experiencing today. So this video is us driving along Highway 410 and going along a flat valley and then approaching a huge flipping hill. And that huge looming hill is where the Lahar stopped. And so, boop, here we are, bouncing along the road. It didn't seem so bouncy, but as you can see, very flat. It's a flat river. It's a flat river valley. Lots of things are grown in this valley. It's called the Kent Valley. I get corn. I get broccoli. I get celery. I get cauliflowers. All sorts of things. But you see, they're coming up. Like, look at that. Boom. Nothing's growing on it. That's just big old hill of whateverness, right? That is where the Lahar stopped. Just stopped right there. And so now we're going up the big old side of the Lahar. And by the way, this video has been edited both for jiggly purposes and to just cut. It was the same thing. It takes about 3.5 minutes at 60 miles an hour to get to the top of this hill. So it's a pretty big hill, right? So as you can see, we're just scooting alongside, doing switchback kind of thing a little bit alongside where the Lahar ended. And so then you've got on your right side, you look down into the valley, and then on the left side, it just keeps going up. And so now you're getting near the top where it about levels out, basically. And then ideally, and this is the this was the Osceola event. And so ideally, when the oh god dang it, when you get to the top, and I was hoping to get this shot that day, but the clouds were not in cahoots with me. As soon as you sort of come around this bend right here, you usually see that. You come around that bend and suddenly Mount Rainier, when the clouds are gone, looms at you. Like it is you are on the foot of Mount Rainier. It is right there in your face. So you just go, make that little adjustment in the road, and suddenly, boom, Mount Rainier is there. And I know that video and that little picture at the end doesn't do it any justice. But one day I'm going to get that shot and you're going to be able to see it. But either way, what we just did was go up an entire, we went up debris that came from the top of Mount Rainier in that video. And Terry in Scotland, the Osceola Lahar, produced by Mount Rainier in a modern day Washington state some 5,600 years ago, resulted in a wall of mud. 140 meters, that's 460 feet deep, in the White River Canyon, and covered the area of over 330 square kilometers for a total volume of 2.3 cubic kilometers. 2.3 cubic kilometers? I don't think that's right, but maybe. Anyway, several towns in the Puyallup River Valley in Washington state, including Orting, are built atop Lahar deposits that are only about 500 years old. Lahars are predicted to flow through the valley every 500 to 1,000 years ago, so Orting, Sumner, Puyallup, Fife, and the Port of Tacoma face considerable risks. And so, so as you can see, all of those cities that are listed there, not Seattle. So we really don't have to worry about a direct hit from Rainier where I'm at. However, if Rainier decided to do a thing, I-5 south of Seattle at Tacoma, anywhere actually between Tacoma and Olympia, could and will be decimated to some. At one point, it will be a problem. If Rainier does its thing, I-5 will be affected. And once I-5 gets affected, well, then Seattle is screwed. There will be a domino effect of awfulness that I will have to deal with. But as far as like my safety of my home and myself and my animals, we're not in any danger. We are in the realm of it'll be a pain in the arse if it happens, but we're not in danger. And so, let's see here. With your luck, Terry, I'll be driving my truck through there when it happens. There you go. And see, Honda, I can spot the mammoth in the mountain. Not even surprised. Because yeah, in that mountain, you can see a lot of different shapes in the crevices, especially as the sun moves across the side and the shadows change. That mountain face is incredible. And that picture, this particular picture, was actually taken, God dang it, was taken from Shelton, Washington. And, God dang it. This particular picture was taken from Shelton, Washington with an incredible lens. And this was taken at the end of August. So, one of the drier, less snowy times of year to be looking at Mount Rainier. You thought you saw Sasquatch in that photo? It wouldn't surprise me at all. He'd be much easier to spot in this photo than in this photo, because this really is what most of us are used to Mount Rainier looking like most of the year. It is snow covered. To see Mount Rainier this bare is a little bit disturbing. I admit it's not unusual for that in the summertime, but it's still a little bit disturbing. All right, you guys. So Kenny is going to go down a rabbit hole looking for a cheap jersey, and hopefully he will have his luck. And you know, Kenny, since you like the other one better, maybe that'll be an easier one for you to find because it's sort of off label. But Puzzycat in the house letting us know it's a 2-minute warning. Actually, Puzzy, according to my clock, it's a 0-minute warning. So I want to thank everyone for hanging out tonight. I want to thank the biddies for biddying her. I want to thank the subbers for subbying her. I want to thank the moderators for moderating her. And I want to thank all of you for chattering her. eMusic, how far down is the snow? Well, let's find out, shall we? Let's find out. So that's Snowy Rainier. And so Snowy Rainier is, I don't know, probably to at least 2,000 feet, because Mount Rainier is like a 14,000 foot mountain, you know? So, so even though it's like, oh, it looks like it's almost at the bottom. Well, yeah, but that's still 2,000 feet up that doesn't have snow. And then in the summertime, you can see that the snow is way closer to like 10,000 feet. So... so there you go. Okay, so thank you so much for all of it and everything, and we will hopefully see each other on Wednesday for another random chat show. And if we can, hopefully we will see each other on Tuesday for Andy Boomatai's Daily Pigeon Live. That, of course, is at 6:30 p.m. West Coast time, 3:30 p.m. Hawaii time. And I'm going to let everybody else do their math because you know your math better than me. So take care, y'all. See you soon. Have a good one.